Hi everybody, I'm Ryan. Today we're going to look at the most expensive cards in March of the Machine. Over the course of the next week, thousands upon thousands of people are going to be cracking packs of March of the Machine. Now that pre-release weekend is over, you can maybe use this video to review and see if you got some of the most expensive cards in the set. And as the set actually gets released, what cards should you be hoping to open? Let's talk about it. The fifth most expensive card in March of the Machine is Shieldred, just Shieldred. It is a 5-mana 4/5 Phyrexian Praetor with Menace, and when Shieldred enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature or planeswalker. So first off, a 5-mana 4/5 with Menace that is also a removal spell is extremely powerful. Or you can pay 5 mana, black, and 4 generic to exile Shieldred, then return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, and activate only as a sorcery and only if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. So the front side is already very good, but we can pay 5 mana to do even more and turn it into a saga. The saga has 3 chapters. The first chapter is for each opponent, destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So it's just 5 mana to flip it, and it's another removal spell. So this is all in one card. Its second chapter is each opponent discards 3 cards, then mills 3 cards. That's also just insane. And then its third chapter is put all creature cards from all graveyards under the battlefield under your control, exile, and return it to the battlefield on the Shieldred side. This card is a bomb. This card's just ridiculous. I can see it played in these standard black mid-range decks, and maybe I could see it sneaking into Pioneer as a 1 or 2 of. Because if it goes unchecked, it just says you win the game. That's all it says. It says you win the game. Right now, the normal version of Shieldred is sitting at $15.81. And its oil slicked version, the showcase version, is sitting at $14.99 on TCG Player. The fourth most expensive card in March of the Machine is the Sword of Winston Future, finishing out this 10-card sword cycle from way back when. It is an equipment. Just like every sword, it gives +2/+2 to the equipped creature and protection from the colors that the sword is, which is blue and black. And whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, it does a blue or a black thing, just like every other sword. You Surveil 2, and then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with a mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead, and its equip cost is 2. This card's really sweet. I mean, I think most of the price is from Commander because the swords aren't really powerful enough anymore for these Eternal formats, even for Pioneer. So unless there's a deck that really mills and wants to cheat cards out from the graveyard, maybe I could see it just as a combo piece, but just as a powerful sword, I think it'll pretty much only see play in Standard. However, people love these swords. A lot of people play Commander, and this sword is sitting at a low price of $16.54 as I look at it right now, and its full art version is sitting at $17.28. The third most expensive card in March of the Machine as this set comes out is Brask. Brask is a 4-mana 4/4 Phyrexian Praetor with First Strike, and it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Brask deals 1 damage to target opponent, and you add 1 red. I'm sensing a storm mechanic here. That seems kind of insane. And you can pay 1 red to exile Brask, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you've cast 3 or more instant sorcery spells this turn. And it turns, just like Shieldred, into a saga called The Great Work. The Great Work says its first chapter is the Great Work deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. So another removal spell as soon as it flips for 1 mana. Requires some doing because you need to cast 3 instant sorceries. Already really good though. Its second chapter is create 3 treasure tokens, so it's ramp. And its third chapter is until end of turn, you may cast instant sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead, and then exile the Great Work and return to the battlefield as Brask. So it gives you the treasures and then gives you the opportunity to cast these instant sorcery spells. I think this card is extremely powerful and maybe even see play in Modern, almost definitely Pioneer, and possibly Standard. It would do some doing with the Standard deck, but really any Storm-esque strategy, or maybe this card will be played in Phoenix. I could see it because Phoenix is already doing this thing to make it powerful. And 4 mana isn't too much for that deck. This isn't quite a just win the game situation as Shieldred, but with some work and some build around, I think this is a win condition in and of itself, especially the deal 1 damage to opponent and add a red every time you cast an instant sorcery spell. That seems kind of broken. Right now, it's sitting at $17.60, and its full art version and its oil slicked version is sitting at $17.64. The second most expensive card in March of the Machine is Ellisnorn. Ellisnorn is a 4-mana 3/5 Phyrexian Praetor with Vigilance, and it says whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, that source's control loses 2 life unless they pay 1, so it's kind of a tax effect. which is pretty powerful in like a white aggressive deck. You know, you attack, they block, and they have to pay mana to like not lose life still even after they block. That seems really powerful. And you can pay 3 mana to sacrifice 3 other creatures. So again, it's a go wide, maybe tokeny deck this would be put in. To exile Ellisnorn, return to the battlefield, transformed under its owner's control. So you're going to activate only as a sorcery. So this is just like the other Praetors. This turns into a saga called the Argent Etchings. Its first chapter is incubate 2, 5 times, then transform all Icumade tokens you control. So we have a 4 mana, and then again, it requires some doing. So we need some creatures to sacrifice, but then 3 more mana, and then we get 5 2/2s, essentially, is all that says. Its second chapter is creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain double strike until end of turn. So you get the 5 2/2s, and then they all become 3 3s and get double strike. That's disgusting. And its third chapter is destroy all other permanents except for artifacts, lands, and Phyrexians, which means you just get to keep your stuff and then return to the battlefield. This is totally like Shieldred in that, like, just by itself, only with a tiny bit of doing, you just need to be playing a creature deck alongside it. It is just win. So all of the permanents is just disgusting. They get to keep their lands, but we get some big guys. We get Ellisnorn back. We can even flip Ellisnorn again if we really want to by sacrificing 3 of the Phyrexians. This card is like just insane, left unchecked, just like Shieldred is. The most expensive card in March of the Machine is the alternate art for Wrenn and Realmbreaker. Wrenn and Realmbreaker is a 3 mana planeswalker. It's a mythic, unfortunately, and it has 4 loyalty. It says lands you control have tapped 1 mana of any color. That's not the super relevant part of Wrenn and Realmbreaker. The relevant part is that it's a really low-cost planeswalker that actually does stuff. Its +1 is up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste until end of turn, and it's still a land. Note that it doesn't untap, but it does give it haste, so it's not as insane as it seems the first read through. Its -2 is mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them milled into your hand, so that's card advantage. And its -7 is you get an emblem with you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard. So every mode of this 3 mana planeswalker that starts with 4 loyalty is just insane. If it goes unchecked, if you don't mind killing it, it profits 2 permanents. It's plus, if you play it on turn 4, protects it. It doesn't necessarily protect it if you jam it out on turn 3, but if you jam it out on turn 3, immediately make something to 3/3, you then have it to attack the following turn because it's until end of your next turn. This is an extremely powerful planeswalker, and I expect it to see heavy play in Standard, heavy play in Pioneer, and maybe even a little bit of Modern play because of its low cost. Right now, its low price on TCG Player is $22.40 for the alternate art, and the normal art is listed at $20.26. So if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Of course, these cards are going to become more or less expensive. This is just a first look as you open the packs for the first time as the set gets released, what you should be looking for. I think all these cards are extremely powerful, and I'm really excited to play with them. Be sure to check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description, especially on Twitch, where I stream there pretty much every night. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.